So you're a 21st century Christian who just discovered that, for almost 1,000 years, Christianity functioned as one big, mostly united institution. Now there are around 45,000 denominations, all claiming they're the authentic continuation of what Jesus' earliest followers practiced. From an Islamic perspective, of course, all of these groups reflect later developments within Christian history, but here we're just describing their own claims. Spoiler: only two groups even claim unbroken institutional continuity all the way back to the early Church: Roman Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy. Everyone else, Protestants, Orientals, Assyrians, etc., openly acknowledges that they branched off or restarted at some point. Again, these are their internal positions, not a statement about religious truth. And yes, Catholics and Orthodox have been arguing for nearly 970 years about who separated from whom. Think of two identical twins separated in 1054, each insisting they're the real one. So who actually represents the original church? Let's walk through the simplified history, purely as a historical overview, not a theological endorsement. Before the schism. Historically, from around AD 100 to AD 1000, there was one large institutional church with regional differences. 5 major patriarchal centers existed: Rome, Constantinople, Alexandria, Antioch, and Jerusalem. Rome held a position of honor. Whether symbolic or authoritative is the disputed part. Then the famous event of 1054 happened: mutual excommunications between Rome and Constantinople, often called the Great Schism, resulting in today's Roman Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy. But the separation was building for centuries, mainly because of 3 disagreements. The Filioque clause, the authority of the Pope, deep cultural and philosophical differences. What follows is their internal debate, not an Islamic affirmation of any concept, since Islam rejects the Trinity and any human claiming divine authority. 1. The Filioque dispute. The original creed, 381, states that the Holy Spirit proceeds from the Father. This is the Christian formulation. Islamically, none of these concepts apply since Allah is one, without partners or divisions. Western Christians later added, and the Son, the Filioque, to express their theological interpretation. Rome officially adopted it in 1014. Eastern Christians objected strongly. In their theology, the Father alone is the source, within their understanding of the Trinity. Again, all of this is Christian internal theological terminology. Islam does not recognize any Trinitarian structure whatsoever. We're simply explaining their dispute, not validating it. 2. Papal authority. This was the biggest issue. Eastern Christians. Pope is first among equals, not supreme. No single bishop can define doctrine alone. Western Christians. Pope holds universal authority. He can define dogma infallibly on faith and morals. Historically, various documents and councils are cited on both sides. But again, this entire debate is based on Christian ecclesiology. Islam does not view any religious leader as having divine authority. 3. Cultural and philosophical differences. This part is less theological and more about worldview. Greekist, mystical, apophatic theology. God is beyond all description. Influenced by Platonic thought. Latin West. More rationalistic. Legal categories. Systematic theology. Aquinas, Anselm. These differences eventually hardened into incompatible systems. Islamically, neither system represents pure monotheism, but historically they shaped Christian civilization. The Fourth Crusade, 1204. Western Crusaders sacked Constantinople, an event still remembered painfully in the Eastern tradition. This permanently damaged trust between the two sides. From an Islamic perspective, this event also reflects the political instability and fragmentation of medieval Christendom. Where they stand today, both groups still view the other as lacking something essential. Catholics say Orthodox Christians lack full communion with Rome. Orthodox say Catholics added doctrines not found in the early councils. Both share many practices, like sacraments, liturgy, and monasticism, all within their theological framework, not Islam's. So who's the original church? It depends on which Christian definition you accept. If original means having a single universal leader, Catholics. If original means unchanged adherence to the first 7 councils, Orthodox. And if you think both sides added later doctrines, well, that's where groups like Anglicans say, "Welcome to the ongoing schism." But ultimately, it wasn't one side randomly leaving. It was 2 ancient Christian traditions that developed differently and never fully reconciled. So when a modern Christian says, "I'm going back to the early church," both sides basically say, "Great, but which one?" And that, kids, is why unified Christian history is complicated.